I found 15 proven ways to get free alcohol on most cruise ships. Now, some of these are exclusive to only 1 or 2 cruise lines, but others work on every sailing, regardless of your loyalty status, and the most money-saving method takes just a few minutes to set up before your cruise even begins. If you're new here, I am Kat, and I'm all about helping you maximize your cruise experience and helping you save some money in the process. So if you have visited any bar on a cruise recently, you know how those bar tabs can really add up fast. And of course, the drink pricing is only going up every year. So after about 40 plus cruises at this point, I personally tested every method that I'm sharing today just to help you out some. And it's not going to give you unlimited alcohol for the whole sailing, but it will help keep that budget down. So some strategies worked a few years ago and now have changed completely. And then we have some new opportunities that have come up recently. So I'll go over what works across most cruise lines, what's exclusive to some ships, and why some cruise lines are better choices if free drinks are high on your priority list. So to start with, the biggest, most reliable way to get free drinks is, of course, loyalty programs. Now, I know what you're thinking, Kat, it takes forever to reach those high tiers. And you're right, it does take some time. But here's what most people don't consider. Not all loyalty programs are created equal. So we'll start with the big benefits from the higher levels first, but later in this video, I'll talk about how you can get some benefits even after being on just a few cruises and which cruise lines are best for that. So I have cruised on most major cruise lines and compared loyalty programs from all of them. Royal Caribbean's Crown and Anchor Society is hands down the most generous when it comes to free drinks. Once you hit the diamond level, which is 80 points, which is really 80 nights unless you do suites with double points and so on, you get 4 free drink vouchers per day. At about $14 per drink, that's over $900 for 2 people on each 7-day cruise. So we're about to reach Diamond Plus on our next cruise on Star of the Seas, and it goes up to 5 drinks at that point. So that's a lot of free alcohol. Now compare that to Norwegian's Platinum level, which currently gets you a dinner with a free bottle of wine, and that's only on a 5-day or longer sailing. Or Princess, their Cruise Elite level, which includes a mini bar set up with a few mini bottles of spirits. It's nice, but it's not nearly as valuable. Celebrity's Elite level does offer a cocktail hour with free drinks, but it's limited to specific times and locations. So if you're going to invest in building loyalty with one cruise line and free drinks are important to you, then Royal Caribbean does give you the biggest bang for your buck. Now, what if you don't have 80 cruise points? Well, don't worry, I have plenty of other strategies coming up next. So this next tip is something I've been taking advantage of a lot recently when sailing on cruise lines that I have not sailed on before. Norwegian and MSC have really good promotions where drinks are included as part of the package. And a few months ago, we sailed on MSC World America, and we only paid a service charge, basically the gratuities that you would pay on a drink package, and got the entire drink package included as part of a fare. So savings were substantial. Now, I hear people say all the time, well, my drinks are included with Norwegian. And yes, they do have more at sea promotion, and I've used it myself. But it's not truly free because you do still have to pay that service fee. So even at, let's say, $30 per day, that's $420 for 2 people for 7 days. Now, it's still cheaper than buying, let's say, Royal Caribbean package, but it's not free. So I'll cover a few of the truly free drinks that you can get on the ship in a minute. But when talking about these bundled packages, here's my advice. Don't choose a ship solely because drinks are included in the package fare. I had a client that made that mistake just recently and ended up on a ship that just was not a good fit for his family's travel style. And that was just because he wanted the free drinks. So make sure to consider the overall experience, the ship amenities, the itinerary first, because those things are a lot more important. And then see if it's worth buying a whole drink package or just pay for a few drinks outright and combine them with the free drinks that we're going to talk about next. So another way you can get some free drinks is by getting onboard credit when you book your cruise, because you can use it to pay for drinks, which essentially makes them free. Now, I know some people love to book the cruise directly with a cruise line and others only use travel agents. Not counting the difference in the service level you get, there are significant differences in promotions that you can get sometimes. When I book from my clients, I can often add anywhere from $50 to $200 in onboard credit, and that's on top of whatever the best rate that the cruise line can give them. In fact, after mentioning this in my last video, I had several people transfer their bookings to me just to get them some extra perks. Now, not every booking can be transferred. They have to be made directly with a cruise line. They have to be within 30 to 60 days of booking, depending on a cruise line, and it can be paid off in full. But for those bookings that can be transferred, it's free money that you can use on drinks or anything else on board, really. Another little known way is that your friends and family can purchase drinks for you as a gift through most cruise lines' website. So, for example, for my birthday cruise, my friends arranged a bottle of champagne to be waiting in our cabin when we arrived, which is a very nice surprise. Let's talk about a classic that still works on many cruise lines, and that's the Captain's Welcome Party. And it's usually held on the first formal night of your cruise, elegant night, whatever they call it nowadays, and they can often serve free champagne or rum punch. Now, many times they'll have servers just walking around with trays, and nobody is counting how many glasses you take. The key here is to arrive early. If you get there after it starts, it may be pretty crowded and you'll have a hard time getting even a glass of champagne. Some cruise lines are scaling this down a bit, but most still do offer it. And I see more of this on larger, newer ships than the older, smaller ships, especially on those quick weekend cruises. Similar to the captain's party, most cruise lines host special events for returning cruisers. And here's something many people don't realize. You don't need to be at those super high loyalty levels to get invited. On Royal Caribbean, for example, once you have 30 points, which is right over 4 7-day cruises, you qualify for their top tier event. So don't let that top tier terminology fool you. I mean, it's more accessible than it sounds. I went to one of these on my last cruise and they had plenty of champagne to go around. They usually do a presentation introducing the main staff on board, like the chef or hotel director. They often recognize some of the longest cruisers on the ship. It was amazing on our last one, the person that with the longest sailings had over 3,500 nights, which is mind-blowing on Royal Caribbean alone. Another great way to enjoy free drinks while getting an amazing experience is by booking excursions that include complimentary beverages. Now, a word of warning here. If you book a boat excursion, like snorkeling catamaran ride, they typically going to serve some watered down rum punch. But all-inclusive beach resorts or day passes is where the good stuff is. So we booked a day pass to an all-inclusive resort in Cozumel last year. And not only did we get unlimited drinks, but for around $85 per person, we got a beautiful beach, a pool, all-you-can-eat food, and drinks. If you normally pay for a regular beach pass resort, then check out the price difference between that and what you might get for an all-inclusive resort. And you might find that the cost difference is not nearly what you would pay for drinks on the ship. This technically is not free, but it's a great way to save money. Most cruise lines still do allow you to bring some wine on board on embarkation day. And I'll put direct links in the description for alcohol policies for each of these cruise lines, so make sure to double check it before your actual cruise. These policies have been getting more restrictive over time, and there's usually a corkage fee listed in the cruise contract that if you want to drink wine in a restaurant, they will charge you something for it. In my experience, these have been rarely enforced, so we used to always bring wine to the dining room every time, but I'm hearing more and more across different cruise lines about it getting enforced. So your best bet is just ask your room attendant for some empty glasses, pour your wine into them, and then you can take that and carry it anywhere you want on the ship. If you enjoy gambling, then the casino may become your cruise ticket to free beverages. Most cruise lines do have some kind of levels you have to reach, until you can start getting free drinks. On Royal Caribbean, if you get 2,500 casino points, which is their prime status, you get unlimited free drinks at the casino bar. Now that's a lot of gambling though, so I don't recommend doing that just for the drinks. But here's a lesser known tip that I've just learned about recently, and that's Celebrity Cruises gives free drinks to all casino players regarding of how much you're spending while you're playing. By the way, if you're a frequent Celebrity Cruiser, please let me know in the comments if that still works that way and if there are any strings attached. I'm going on Celebrity Excel when it launches this November, so I am really interested in checking this out. Just remember to gamble responsibly. Don't spend more on gambling than you would on a drink package because that defeats the purpose, and only do it if you really are going to gamble anyway. This is an oldie but goodie, and we're gonna go through it fast, but it still works on pretty much every cruise ship. Art auctions are almost always offering free champagne, and you have absolutely no obligation to buy anything. Park West Gallery operates on many cruise ships, and they're pretty generous with the champagne. I actually enjoy looking at their art, so I usually grab a glass, look at some art, and then quietly slip out sometime before the bidding starts or after, depending on my interest level. So these auctions are usually held multiple times throughout the cruise, so you can potentially score some free champagne on several different days. Just check your daily planner for the times and locations. The next method will let you have some top shelf spirits for absolutely free, but in very low quantity. And most ships have a duty-free liquor shops, and they often host tastings to get you to buy it, of course. But these samples, even though they're small, they are absolutely free. These events are usually listed in your daily schedule, and I recommend arriving earlier because they can get crowded. And not only do you get free drinks, you do get to sample some new brands that you may not have tried before, and who knows, you might find a new favorite. Now, I understand suites cost more money, sometimes a lot more money, and you're not getting something for nothing here. But if you were considering upgrading anyway, the free drinks can be a nice bonus that helps offset the higher price. And that's where comparing different cruise lines, the tiers of suites, really can pay off. So on Royal Caribbean, booking a Grand Suite or higher gives you access to the Suite Lounge, where they serve complimentary beer, wine, and cocktails during certain hours. Star Class suites even include a complimentary drink package for your entire cruise. MSC's Yacht Club and Norwegian The Haven also include free drinks as part of their perks, but of course with their package fares it probably is cheaper to buy a regular balcony cabin and add that on. The important thing to remember is that you're not just paying extra for drinks. You're getting a gorgeous suite, priority boarding, exclusive areas, and a ton of other benefits. So definitely check that out if that's something in your budget and you want that elevated experience. Some specialty dining restaurants do include alcohol with your meal, which can be good value. Usually these are those more upscale restaurants that you'll pay more for them than a regular restaurant, but you're paying for this elevated dining experience. Now, this is an old school strategy, but it still works, and that's building some rapport with bartenders that can lead to free drinks, or at least stronger drinks. We love to do that, not for the free drinks, but just for the experience. We like to find a bar that we like, that is not going to be in some crowded place like a pool deck, where we actually like the atmosphere, so we would normally return there regularly. And after a couple days, the bartenders start recognizing you, they know how you like your drinks, so it just makes it for a better experience. But we also find that sometimes tipping well at the beginning of a cruise can end up with some occasional free drinks. Again, it's not guaranteed, so they can't promise you anything, but it does work. Now here's a fun one. Every cruise ship that we've been on, even the smaller ones that are catering towards older audience, they run game shows, whether it's daytime, nighttime, pool time, you name it. And I've seen on many of them free drinks being given away to the winners. The most generous one I've seen recently has been Margaritaville at Sea, because they were giving away free rounds of margaritas to winners of every round on the popular shows like The Quest or Battle of the Sexes. The high-end shops on board often host these special events with complimentary champagne, and these might be listed as special showcases or trunk shows and daily programs. And unlike those liquor tasting events, they rarely advertise that there'll be free drinks for those events, so you have to kind of know about it. And we stumbled on quite a few of these that would have champagne or chocolates, but you don't have to purchase anything. Just look around like you're interested and then say no to the salespeople. So while not completely free, happy hour specials can significantly reduce your drink costs. Many ships offer the buy one, get one free deals, so at least you get one drink for each one purchased. Pretty much every cruise line has discounted drinks during certain hours, and drinks of the day that is a few dollars cheaper than their other cocktails. I've seen anything from $2 mimosas in the casino to cheap Bloody Marys with brunch to half-price martinis before dinner. Sometimes these can be advertised in a daily schedule, but I think more often I just see something like a printed sign on a bar counter. So keep your eyes open and you'll see these opportunities throughout the ship. But if you really don't want to be hunting around the ship for free drinks, then watch my video next on how to save money on purchasing a drink package, this one specifically for Royal Caribbean, and the other video with the top confusing questions about the drink package. Thank you for watching.